thought this trip was going to begin with excitement, but instead it began as one of the craziest flights I have ever been on. Whoever came up with the phrase "expect the unexpected" knew exactly what they were talking about. But before we even get into Toronto, I have to tell y'all what happened on the flight because woo, honey.
I finally made it to Toronto and I am so excited. Thank God for a safe trip here because it was rough. I touched down in Toronto before 3 o'clock. I think it was like 2:45. Initially, we were supposed to touch down at 2:58, but there was a medical emergency on my flight, so they sped the plane up so we could get here faster. A guy in my row had a seizure. Just witnessing that was really scary to me. Thank God there was medical personnel on the flight. There was one lady that said that she was a doctor, and then 2 other women that I assume were nurses. I wasn't paying much attention. I was on my phone. And I looked over again and I seen the guy, his eyes were almost out of his head and his mouth was just open. At first, a flight attendant came over and she was doing chest compressions on him. When that wasn't working, that's when they called for on the intercom, hey, does anybody have any medical training? But thank God he ended up being all right. I chose Toronto because tomorrow is the 4th of July in the US and I wanted to get away and do something else besides that. I want to go somewhere quick and fast, not too far from home. I won't have to be on the airplane too long. Something where I don't have to worry about it being such a huge culture shock or an issue with language. I selected Toronto, Canada. I can't wait to see what Toronto is all about. It reminds me a lot of the US, so I don't expect nothing too crazy, but I do hope something happens that surprises me so I can be ooh, wow. I cannot wait to take y'all along with me. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed already, click the subscribe button.
Today was just one of those crazy travel days. And after everything that happened getting here, I really didn't have anything left in me. I ordered some ramen through Uber Eats. I ate dinner in my hotel room and I called it a night because I knew I had an early morning ahead of me. But tomorrow morning, I had exactly one goal in mind, and that was to see Toronto starting from the top.
Oh God, I am not a morning person. Oh Lord.
If you know me personally, then you already know mornings and I do not exactly get along. I'm not a morning person at all, but the CN Tower opens early and I wanted to get there around 9 before it got too crowded. There was most definitely a part of me that wanted to hit that snooze button so bad, but I knew I'd regret it if I did. I don't think pictures prepare you for how tall this thing really is. The higher we went up, the smaller everything below started to look. One thing about traveling alone, if you want pictures of yourself, you have to become your own photographer. And I'll be honest, even though I'm 30 years old, pulling out my tripod in public still feels a little bit awkward to me. I always feel like people are watching me when I'm trying to set everything up. And as I was looking around, I happened to see a couple that was taking pictures of themselves with the exact same type of tripod that I had. And it kind of reminded me that everybody is just out here trying to capture memories. The older I get, the less I care about what complete strangers think of me. If taking 5 extra minutes to set up a tripod means I'll have memories from places like this years from now, then I'm 100% okay with looking awkward, because let's be real, I ain't ever gonna see these people again in my life anyway. Now, this was the part I was not so sure about. I knew the glass was completely safe, but knowing something and actually believing it are 2 very different things. I stood there for a minute just watching everybody else, and after seeing person after person walk across it, I finally convinced myself to do it. And I'm not gonna lie, my heart was beating just a little bit faster, but I'm really glad I did it. Because if I didn't, I know for a fact I would have gotten home and been so regretful that I did not do it. Currently, it is the tallest freestanding structure in the Western Hemisphere, standing at exactly 1,815.5 feet tall. And then, just when I thought the morning couldn't surprise me anymore, I saw a black squirrel. Yes, y'all, a black squirrel. I had never seen one before in my life, and upon doing some research, I found that they are actually quite common in Ontario. As soon as I made it back outside, the weather completely changed. It started raining, and for a little while I wasn't really sure what the rest of the day was going to look like. But one thing I've learned about traveling is not to let a little rain ruin your experience, so I kept walking. I love moments like this because they aren't planned. I wasn't rushing to check off landmarks, I was just walking. And sometimes that's when you discover the best parts of any city. By this point, I had gotten so hungry and I had worked up a real mean appetite, okay? I finally found a breakfast spot, only to realize everybody else had the exact same idea. This place was packed out. I ordered eggs, French toast with strawberries because I love my sweets, and of course I had to try Canadian bacon. And I'll just say this, it's definitely not the bacon that I'm used to back home, but it was really good. After the CN Tower and breakfast, I was done. I wanted to keep exploring, but my body had other plans. I don't usually take naps, especially when I'm traveling, but I knew I needed one. 2 hours later, this is what I woke up to. It was 5 p.m. and I didn't regret it not one bit. The weather finally began clearing up and I headed over to the Distillery district. It was busy, of course, it was a Saturday, but somehow it still managed to feel really charming. I loved all the brick buildings, the little shops, the live music, and just the overall atmosphere.
From the first moment I saw you, I knew I had to make you mine. Wanted to know everything about you. I didn't want to waste no time. What's something I can do for you, darling?
I even stumbled across a free concert, which I definitely was not expecting. And I ain't ever turned down nothing free. And you see, those are my favorite kinds of travel moments. The ones you never could have planned, because they end up being the best times. One thing people don't talk about when it comes to solo travel a lot is seeing families and groups of friends everywhere can make you miss your own people a little bit. So I decided to FaceTime my family and show them around Toronto. Even though they weren't here with me physically, getting to share the views and hearing their voices and how excited they were honestly made me feel so good inside. It reminded me that just because I'm traveling alone doesn't mean I am alone. As I was walking back toward my hotel, I noticed something. The sun was still up, and it was much later than I would have expected. It caught me off guard because back home it would have been already getting dark. Come to find out, because Canada sits further up north in the US, the sun sets much later and they have longer daylight hours. It's the little differences like that that always remind me that I'm somewhere completely different, and I love that feeling.
I am in for the night. I had a good day. It is currently 10 o'clock. This is, I think I said it already, but this is my third country where I've solo traveled. And honestly, I don't have a goal. Like, I know some travelers be like, oh, I want to see every country in the world or 30 countries before 30, which I'm way past that point because I just turned 30. But I don't have a goal for sure. I just want to go to as many places as I possibly can. I'm tired. My feet hurt. I am not used to walking this much. So far, everything is going really good. I felt safe the entire time. No issues so far. Oh, I had one problem. Still no sweet tea, y'all. Still no sweet tea. That sweet tea thing be hurting me because I'm just like, what am I going to drink? I know that up here they don't have sweet tea, but I went to a McDonald's and I was like, well, hopefully a chain restaurant would have sweet tea. Y'all, McDonald's ain't had no sweet tea either. I asked the cashier, I said, can I get a large sweet tea? And she was like, huh? I said, y'all ain't got sweet tea? She was like, no. And I was like, oh man. I was like, at least I hope that a restaurant like a Burger King or a McDonald's or Subway would have sweet tea. They ain't got it either. So this is why I like travel. I love the experiences that it gives me. I love being able to learn things. I love even when I assume something wrong, like today with the sweet tea thing at the McDonald's, because it all teaches you something. It all teaches you a lesson that had you not had those experiences, or had I not had those experiences, I never would have learned. When I was on the phone with my mama, and I had also FaceTime my niece, they was like, well, my niece said, are they popping fireworks up there? And I was like, no, this is Canada. They don't have the 4th of July. And then my mama, she asked me the same thing. She was like, so what they doing up there? They celebrate the 4th? I said, no, mama, they don't celebrate the 4th.
I said, this is Canada. This is another country. That's also why I love travel too, because I get to tell my family things that they didn't know. I'm really proud to be able to do that. I am the only person in my family that does this. Most of my family members, they would never leave the country alone. Well, I got one cousin. She went to Costa Rica for her birthday a few years ago. And she did it before I even attempted to do this. But besides her, like, nobody else in our family travels like that. And definitely not by themselves. That is not common. My family is from a small town in the South. So our people don't really discover a lot, don't try a lot, don't experience a lot. And I'm somehow I ended up being completely different. I don't know how. It's just in me to be adventurous and to want to try things. And, you know, I possess the courage and the bravery to be able to do these things. When people ask me about if I'm scared, I'm like, I don't move in fear. Like, yes, I know that things bad could happen to me. I don't assume that nothing can't happen to me, but I just tell myself that I'll be okay. I reassure myself a lot, but I don't assume the worst. I don't operate in fear, because if you operate in fear, you'll never have any type of experiences in life. And I'm gonna see this big, beautiful earth before I go. God can take me once I went all around this world and I've seen everything and I've met different people. Once I make, you know, my little 360 around this globe, God can take me, because at that point, I'll have done everything that I ever wanted to do. And this is a passion of mine, besides like art and stuff like that. And now video creation. I love doing this too. I love anything in the creative field. But I love travel. Like, it's like deep in my heart. I never would have guessed 10 years ago that I would be doing something like this. This is crazy. But yeah, Toronto is really nice. A really clean city. The people are cool. Smells nice. It's not filthy or dirty. I got some old food I'm about to eat from yesterday. And we're going to call it night, because your girl is tired. And that's about it. I will see you guys in a few hours. In like less than 12 hours.
When I think back on my first full day in Toronto, I don't just remember the views from the CN Tower or that bomb breakfast or even the Distillery district. I remember pushing through being tired. I remember setting up my tripod even when I felt kind of awkward. I remember sitting on that glass floor even though I was nervous. And I remember reminding myself why I love traveling in the first place. Because every trip gives me a chance to experience something I've never experienced before. And this was only the beginning. And I'll see you in the next one.